Good morning, folks. It is a morning to celebrate here, at least. There's actual sun. Oh, can't believe it. That was like sensory deprivation. I was more or less locked. I had to keep all my doors closed because of the intense rain, or else it would soak everything, so it's kind of dark. And it was sort of gloomy anyways. So this is my first beautiful sunlight morning for a while now, and just want to hear that kettle whistle. You know, the simple things in life, when it all boils down to it, especially if you're roughing it, or you've gone through roughing it, of other kinds of roughing it, whatever that might be for you. It's the simple things in life that pull you through. It's the little rituals that don't seem to have much meaning that end up having more meaning than you thought. Like making my coffee in the morning, the sound of a kettle whistling. You know, I had this electronic one at the house before we sold it, and I don't know, I just wanted to get a kettle that whistled. Just had a good feeling. Something from childhood memories, I guess. So I'm close this up. I've chosen Yemen Red Mocha Haraz, AA plus. True mocha from the Haraz Mountains of Yemen, grown at an elevation of 7,800 feet. Our Haraz has exceptional creamy body with vanilla that finishes off with traditional chocolatey mocha notes, and a touch of cherry is also present. A smooth and pleasant cup that comes to life with our traditional fire roasting. Now, that's their label because they don't normally sell the green, so that was a request. So they've still got the label about how they roast it. But rest assured, this is also fire roasted. But one thing roasted coffee can never ever boast is that they roasted it individually just for you, which is what I'm doing here. Oh, that sound. It's so grounding for me. I had a rough day yesterday, rough night last night. Woke up this morning feeling pretty rough. Chatted with my sister. What are sisters for, right? Brought myself back down into a certain state of calm, almost calm. And felt good enough to have a coffee, because, you know, coffee is stimulating. And I just didn't want anything to throw me off my nerves. So I'm watching myself, monitoring myself carefully, and trying to be really easy on my system, trying to eat as good as I can, try to take my vitamins, make sure I get my exercise, try to do physical exertion properly so I don't hurt myself. You know, all those good things. Keep warm. Went over to a friend's place yesterday evening. Helena, who was partner to J. Bell Redbird, the late J. Bell Redbird. And I hate that term, late. I don't know, it conjures up, I guess because I was always late to school, late for everything, and it just always felt embarrassing. And you call someone the late whatever. I'd like to say the recently expanded and upgraded version of Jay. That Helena was the loving partner of and soulmate of, and now Jay is in this expanded version of himself. And so Helena invited a few people over for dinner. It was her first dinner at her new place, and it ended up just being me, Helena, and Dawn. Don Don, as Raven called him. And it was a wonderful, wonderful dinner. Helena always makes wonderful food. She's a great cook. Polish background, but not necessarily Polish food, but just good cooking. And we just had a really good time chatting. You know, it was very good too. Don's lost people close to him very recently, his brother and his father. And he also used to work as a PSW, so the three of us had a lot in common to talk about, and it felt good. And all three of us are artists as well, and we all plan to get something happening out here, a real artist community. It's very exciting, and I try to think about that stuff when I'm feeling sad, bummed out and stuff. Is I try to think about those good things that I really do believe that Raven is pushing me to do. Because one of the things I'll admit right now, not easy to admit, kind of, I don't know why, but when there was Raven and me, it was a phase of my life where I was very busy up until, well, I even was very busy when she was sick, because then there was extra things to do. But I've always been very busy tattooing. Half the time we'd have events at the house, people visiting, and I'd be upstairs working, kind of listening through the door at the laughter and cheer and stuff. So I love my work, but now I want to kind of balance things out more, reduce debt, do everything that I can so that I don't have to work 24 hours a day and I can enjoy my soul printing. And as you all know, me and Raven are deepening the soul print experience even further. And I don't know, I just want to take things deeper, lift things higher. I want to help people, and I know, and everyone knows, and there's some people in denial, but the world is going through one hell of a birthing pain. Let's just keep it there. Doesn't matter what side of the coin you're on. The distressing thing to me is that we have so many people so polarized. It's fucked up, and maybe it just happened, maybe it's planned, who cares, right? At the end of the day, if it's happening, it's happening. It's in the now, that is what is. But it's excruciating to me sometimes when I think about the state we're all in, and the fear and everything else. And I want to do my part, our part, in helping people heal. And a lot of that is not someone healing someone, one to another, but it's a mutual conversation, ongoing, that's going to be our healing, I believe. And that's where Nomad Village, with NOMÆŞportal, soul prints, and other forms of art are going to help people intensely. Okay, this is going to be a very hot meeting. Whoa! I think that's very close. Don't want to go too much further. Okay, well, better put that on. I like to heat up some rainwater. I can wash my face with it, I can wash dishes with it, I can do a whole bunch of things. It's always good in the morning to have something heating up there. Oh, I can't wait for this beautiful Yemen red mocha. Red was always my favorite color, although saffron, purple, orange, a few colors have become very well loved. I would say saffron more than orange, and it's that certain kind of fabric from India that has that little sheen. So it has an orangey and lighter fluctuation, and I love that. But when I was born, or whenever I first became conscious enough of colors, red little red shiny car, you know, little red sports car. Just, I thought that was the best thing in the world. Okay. Just want to say I love you guys. I know it sounds corny just speaking out to an audience, but it was true before. But this whole journey I've been on with Raven has taken me to depths that I'm sure many of you do know, many of you can imagine. But life's too short to not love people, you know? Like I even love, you know, people that are quote unquote fucked up or angry or whatever. It doesn't mean I want to embrace them. But I'm just looking for a bowl to put this in. I just want people to heal, to feel the best they can. Just gonna get a bowl. I posted a little thing from Oracle Girl the other day. I really like her stuff. One thing I really like about her is, as you know, it's very difficult to talk about anything these days without it becoming polarized in some way. And I find that she is able to go the deepest, and she resonates with me the most, and yet manages to not go into very polarizing topics. She keeps everything out of that area. And I really, really love and respect that in her, and she's guiding me in that sense of learning how to step gracefully and gently and carefully as we walk our path. Oh God, the sun is, wow. Oh, sanity. I wonder if it's like sun and sanity, sanity, sun insane. Okay. Usually about 60 to 70 times that I twirl that. Get a nice little ground thingy there. Whoa. Oh, I tell you, anxiety, depression, and stuff, when waves go through you, whoa, takes its toll. More or less, like almost don't have any in my system, riding through my system right now. Did a whole bunch of little messages and errands and things this morning to move forward, and accomplishing little things is one of the things I recommend anyone going through any really difficult, tough times where they just can't feel like they can put one foot in front of the other. Go for the little teeny tasks and just accomplish one or two at a time, and then move to the next. Don't allow yourself to think too far ahead. Make lists, and here I am saying make lists when I should be doing it, because usually in difficult times, short-term memory just goes, and then that makes it even more difficult. Although I think to some degree it's trying to save you from the overthinking and getting overwhelmed. So it's just a shutdown. It's like, okay, shut these down, don't need these, those are gonna be horrible, da 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 da. So there's always wisdom in everything, but don't mean that we always understand the wisdom and and I guess that's where the word faith. I always had a big problem with the word faith. It seemed paper doily-ish and religious in the negative sense of the term, like dogmatic kind of thing. And I've since recently really reconnected with it. It's still an odd word to me, I think, because I've programmed it that way. But faith, I believe now, I see it differently, and it's something I believe we really need to have in ourselves. Faith in a bigger picture of some kind. Faith in, I think optimism is closely related to that. Okay, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, my coffee. You have no idea how therapeutic these little videos that I do are. It comes the closest to feeling like I got a bunch of friends around me while I have my coffee, and at times like right now, it's imperative. I kind of need to do this. And as I've said earlier, it's not easy for me to be transparent in the difficult times. It's easier for me to be transparent earlier on, but as things got more difficult, whoa, it was just too much. And to express myself truthfully and honestly, and like even accepting help was excruciating at times, because I just felt like, oh my God, I'm gonna owe so many people so much. How am I ever gonna repay them? And it just became overwhelming that way. And I had to let go of that. And I had someone gave me shit, and they told me, they said, if you are refusing me helping you, whether it's because you don't want to put me out or whatever, they said, I'm denying them, you're denying me the opportunity to be a part of this that's happening with Raven. And they said, honestly, if it's denied of them, they have a hollow place where something could have been filled, and it could have been a part of something really special for them. And I took that in, and I took it seriously, and it's still not totally easy. I'm still kind of cringing, and yes, I will admit I'm getting a little nervous about the winter coming. I know I'll be okay, but it doesn't mean I don't get nervous, and I'm sure a lot of what I'm going through right now is kind of in between the stress of getting ready for winter and the fear somewhere in there of that tries to get in of the fear of not being ready. And it's everything. It's like the managing of funds with the managing of time and the managing of everything. It's just, it can get overwhelming. Damn, I should have brought my cream when I was bringing the other. 1 second. All you black coffee drinkers. Sacrilegious, I know. I'm working my way towards black coffee, and I am getting closer, but nice. Lemon red mocha. It's really nice. I don't know if it's, definitely is not my favorite. But it's still a nice full body. Let's see here. Creamy body. Yeah, there is a creamy vanilla kind of thing, for sure. Chocolatey mocha, yes. And a touch of cherry. I can kind of see, I'm learning how to taste these things. It's present, a smooth and pleasant cup that comes to life with traditional fire roasting, yes. And I did traditionally fire roast it. So there. Sit down. Wow. I tell you, as Stephen Jenkinson says, well, he doesn't say this whole sentence. He says, when life has its way with you, and boy, does that ever conjure up something like, it's like in between dimensions. That's why I'm seeing now poetry done properly can take you into realms that otherwise words do not work. Where that poetry is hidden amongst things, I don't know. I haven't been a big poetry reader, but I think I might become more of one in my older age. But that's where Jenkinson really blew my mind and made me realize. And that doesn't mean I see eye to eye with him in a ton of stuff. Maybe I would if I got to know him better. Amazing person nonetheless. But he got me to realize, I got to realize before that some people that spoke very well and very impressively, but Stephen Jenkinson was able to take me into a, I would say almost psychedelic, theogenic kind of state just with his words. He could shift my, I don't know, my temporal lobe or something. I don't know what it was, but I would just be blown in the middle of stuff. How he could make things make so much sense that couldn't make sense. Just amazing. We got a very interesting time ahead of us, folks. I don't want to even predict, because I don't want to predict. All we can do is watch it unfold, but I do believe whatever happens in the let's just say for now, the next year, it's going to be intense. And I think that people pulling together and helping each other, helping their neighbors, regardless of what their political beliefs are. The question is, to myself, to someone else, to you, do you have enough courage and integrity to step out of your whatever, and you don't have to shake the hand of the neighbor even, but if someone's in trouble, would you help them if you thought you hated them or something? It's that kind of question, community kind of stuff. Like someone was telling me up here after Raven had passed, it was Pam, and she was telling me about all the churches up here, how they all pull together when some big catastrophe happens, like a big forest fire, and it burns down some houses or something. And she said, like, each church is in friendly competition with the other churches for what spread they can provide for the families and stuff. And I don't know, it's just beautiful. I used to have such a hate on for Christianity, and there's aspects of everything that I don't care for, and everyone can imagine why I had that issue as a whole. But I learned through the last year that it's so easy to generalize, and even if there's, in this case, one Christian who blows that belief to shreds, well then it's not valid anymore. So, and it's not just one Christian, it's many. I go by the person and their energetic value, not what is on their name or clothes they wear or whatever. I get a feeling, and I'm not always right. People can definitely trick me. I'm not impervious to things like that happening, but I'm a big empath, so I can take on too much at times because I want to help, and I can get consumed if I don't watch out as well by someone else's trauma or I'm so grateful for good music. I'm so grateful for good people. So grateful for good coffee. I'm friggin' grateful for warmth when it's here. I am super grateful for wood stoves. I love wood stoves. I would throw out a TV any day, but I would not throw out a wood stove. I have done without TV for such a long time. You know, I watch YouTube's little talks and things and presentations, but I just haven't. Don't mean that I won't enjoy a movie sometime, but I just haven't had it in me to want to sit down and watch a movie, and half the time it's just like, why did I even watch that? It's a waste. But I'm feeling a deep, deep movement and calling for all of us, as I mentioned earlier, to move into deeper, tighter communities, watching each other's backs, helping each other, being careful. Like, yes, okay, for those of you that are into the authority thing, yes, okay, there's a certain place for it, and if you really feel you need to defend and protect authority, I'm not going to judge you, I'm not going to criticize you. But just remember that your brothers and sisters come before the government and Big Pharma and whoever that you might worship. If you do. Just remember, even if you're one of those people, your friends and loved ones come first. So I open my doors on that note, and I have mentioned this earlier, to anyone who wants to come for a soul print session. I don't even have a right to deny someone their own inner healing. And I still used to, all the way through, and still do believe that the healing comes from you. You are your own maker, your own designer. You create your reality. You heal yourself. Still learning what that word means, you know, because it's just been so wrongly used. Oh god, this is good. I wish it would stay hot longer though. Well, I guess I could just sit it in that hot water. Hey, necessity is the mother of invention. Yeah. Just gonna float my cup. Okay. I'm floating my cup in the hot water. Get it warmed up a bit and see if it works well. So yeah, I just, you know, as much as I'm going through hell, if it could only be hell in a handbasket, because then at least it's easy to carry around. Just trying to be funny. It's a bad joke, but and I'll openly admit it. I'm going through hell. I'm going through hell. It's difficult. There's moments where I feel like a friggin' sniveling wimp. And there's moments where self-criticism gets in, and I clear it out. So I don't entertain it. So at least I'm at that stage. But there are times. And I think if I'm having this hard of a time, imagine people that haven't spent their life training. I'm like, oh my god, it's just overwhelming thinking about people in that kind of excruciating place. And all I want to do is help them. And that's probably the biggest reason for Nomad Village taking shape, and it's the reason for Raven going the way she went. It was important for her, this mission that we have. It went beyond life and death. And that's how she was able to push through what she pushed through with integrity and fearlessness. It means that much to her. So just something to think about, of how dedicated we are to what we are embarking upon here in this journey. And we invite others to and who already are, but we invite people to in some way be a part of it if they want to. Now, I've also talked to a lot of other friends who are also doing similar projects, which is another thing I encourage. You know, you just have a whole bunch of little satellite community type spaces where, in this case, where there'll be, you know, you can go and rent a tent or a room or a cabin, and there's events, and it's all so kind of oriented around healing. And what we've been talking about is we're going to network. And we'll become bigger and better, and we'll be a force to be reckoned with. We'll be invincible, and we will help people find their center and find who they really are. And there's another topic that I've glanced on a few times, touched on. Who are you? Who am I? Who is anyone? Do we know? We know what we've been told. We have some sense, some more than others, a sense of who we are. But how many people can say beyond a shadow of doubt they 100%, 120% fully know who they are beyond the limitations of their five senses? That's the thing. We don't know. You know, yes, there's conditioning all through life, intentional and unintentional, but there's other factors that come into play. And I feel that now is the time to go deep and find out who we're not. Oracle Girl, Jacqueline, had a few great insights that absolutely, she had the right words and the concepts that just took my understanding to the next level. She used the term the slave self. She said everyone has it, and it's a composite of a whole bunch of wrongfully believed misconceptions about the self. So not direct and not finite by any sense. And the real self has a infinite quality. I believe, she believes, many believe. And part of our healing process, I believe, she believes, many of us do, is stripping off identifying these misdirected, misconceived concepts of self that aren't doing us any good. Yeah, a lot of stuff is failing and a lot of stuff is crumbling, but maybe we need to ask, do we need everything that's crumbling? And maybe some things will crumble temporarily that we do need, but even being without what we need for a small period of time, and I know from what I'm going through, and that's why I want to go through this, it brings out a great level of appreciation and respect for that. And I think we need that. We all need a reorientation. And sadly enough, what I just went through with Raven is waking me up on such a stark but yet loving way, necessary way, maybe, that I embrace it. There is so much beyond this life, and for us to put everything into just trying to preserve this life only at all costs and everything else thrown into the fire, I don't think it's right. And Stephen Jenkinson is right that we have a fucked up view of death and dying in our culture, and it fucks up our experience of life. We don't know how to live if we don't know how to die, or what dying, quote unquote, is. So, sadly, I'm going to have to say that perhaps we need everything that's happening to us. Because, yeah, it'll strip some of us away, and maybe those are meant to go. And go doesn't mean gone, like to a corner with a dunce cap kind of thing. It always seems, you know, it's like a cop-out or a failure or a disgrace, going. Maybe going is for those that need to go. They have something to do. We really don't know. I mean, religion has its concepts, all different religions, and I'm not knocking any of them. Different spiritual views, but the bottom line is no one 100% can put their little thumbtack on the exact what happens. And that's a beautiful thing, because it's just as easy that when Raven leaves, or when someone else leaves their body, drops the body physicality and moves on, there's all kinds of potentialities out there that could be happening, and I'd like to believe there's some kind of a elevation or progression. Maybe that's an invention of our minds. Who knows? But I'd like to believe that there's something between here, this existence, and just complete, dissolved into the infinite. And I am inclined to believe more even now that there is. You know, it's hard to dream up a concept, and if we do, it's probably wrong. But like using my dogs as an example, they can perceive things I can't. And eagles can perceive things they can't, and whales can perceive things that eagles can't, and trees can, in their own way, perceive things that animals can't. Rocks, when I go to a sweat lodge and those rocks are glowing red placed into the center of the dark space, the womb. It's believed that they have a consciousness, and I don't argue it at all. Because to put that down and ridicule something like that is just showing one's lack of awareness at that time when it's been said. So much is not what we know, and we can definitely lean towards indigenous cultures and beliefs because they've got something. I'm not putting them on a pedestal, they're human beings as well, and they've also had it, so much of it, ripped out of them, tortured out of them, abused out of them, as we have had to in different ways. But I don't know the answer, but love is the answer somehow. But also integrity and fearlessness and people stepping up to the plate and just saying, okay, no more. I'm going to find a way that for me, I can do something, make a difference, and then do it. It could be a wonderful new world opening up. Doesn't have to be something horrible. And I really do truthfully believe that we are standing on the precipice. And if we choose one way or another, we could be choosing our complete demise. Like, it is possible, like a year from now even, that humanity could be gone. It's not that far-fetched. It could also be possible that we could be on our way to something absolutely mind-blowing. We could be on our way towards a shift, dimensional shift. And for those that kind of giggle or chuckle at that, I've been there. And I'm not attaching to it, I'm not relying on that possibility. But it is a possibility, as many other things are too. Like Richard Dawkins, his view of the world, bless his heart, bless his soul. I'm sure he doesn't want it blessed, but explain what love is there, Richard. And tell me that your concept that nothing exists is such a far-fetched and contrived idea that you've already rendered it pretty well impossible.